The detention level of the Imperial Fortress existed in perpetual twilight. Commander Rhea Voss descended through 7 security checkpoints, each manned by guards who looked at her with something between pity and horror. By the time she reached the final gate, the air had grown cold enough to see her breath. "This is madness," the Corinthian gatekeeper hissed, his scales rippling with anxiety. 3,821 years. No one has entered that corridor and lived. Rhea adjusted the feeding pack on her shoulder. "Then I suppose I'll be the first." The gatekeeper's 4 eyes blinked in asynchronous confusion. This was the human response to impossible odds, simple determination spoken like a weather forecast. He had heard rumors about their species, but standing before one made the stories seem inadequate. The corridor beyond stretched into darkness. Motion sensors flickered to life as Rhea walked, illuminating titanium walls scarred with claw marks that went impossibly deep. Some gouges were wide enough to fit her arm inside. The marks weren't random. They formed patterns, almost like written language, telling a story of rage that spanned millennia. At the end of the corridor stood a door that made Rhea pause. It was the only thing in the fortress constructed of organic material, ancient wood from a world whose name had been forgotten. Carved into its surface was a warning in 73 languages, but the human translation was simplest. "Here lies death." She knocked. The silence that followed was absolute. Then from within came a sound that made every instinct scream at her to run, a low rumble that resonated in her chest cavity, in her bones, in places sound shouldn't reach. It was a purr and a growl simultaneously, a vocalization that predated language itself. "Asheran," Rhea said, her voice steady. "I've brought food." The door wasn't locked. That detail had surprised her during the briefing. The Emperor himself had explained. Locks meant nothing to the creature within. Asheran remained contained by choice, by honor, by some ancient oath no one alive still understood. Rhea pushed the door open. The cell was vast, far larger than the corridor suggested, spatial engineering that bent physics into uncomfortable shapes. And in the center, on a platform of polished obsidian, lay Asheran. The alien feline was enormous. Even lying down, her shoulder height matched Rhea's. Her fur shifted colors like oil on water, midnight blue flowing into deep violet, scattered with points of light that resembled stars. 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, fixed on Rhea with an intelligence that made human genius seem like infant babbling. When Asheran breathed, the air in the room moved with tidal force. "A human." Asheran's voice bypassed Rhea's ears entirely, manifesting directly in her mind. "How curious. The Emperor sends me the galaxy's youngest species as my caretaker." Rhea set down the feeding pack and began unpacking containers. "I volunteered, actually." "Why?" "Everyone else was too afraid." Asheran's laugh was like distant thunder. "Wisdom often wears the face of fear. Your species lacks this wisdom." "We have plenty of fear," Rhea said, arranging the nutrient cubes according to the archaic feeding instructions. "We just don't let it make our decisions." The great alien rose, and Rhea understood why entire armadas had once fled from this being. Asheran moved like liquid shadow, each motion containing the promise of violence that could shatter worlds. She approached the food, then stopped, her diamond eyes studying Rhea with uncomfortable intensity. "You're curious about me," Asheran observed, not terrified, curious. "The Emperor's files say you single-handedly destroyed the Vexthor fleet, 73 dreadnoughts in 17 minutes. Then you surrendered and demanded imprisonment." Rhea met those alien eyes without flinching. Why would something that powerful choose a cage? For the first time in 3,121 years, Asheran felt something stir in her ancient heart. Interest. "I was a weapon," she said softly. "Created, not born. Designed by the Architect Collective to be perfect destruction. I fulfilled my purpose too well. When the war ended, I looked at what I had become and saw only horror. So I chose this cell, this exile, as penance." "That's stupid," Rhea said. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. "Explain." "You're punishing yourself for being what others made you. That's letting them win twice. Once when they created you, and again every day you stay here." Rhea pulled out a small device from her pocket. "I brought something else besides food." She activated the holographic projector. Images filled the air. A human child laughing, cities rebuilt from ruins, gardens growing on asteroid colonies, a symphony performed by 20 different species, each contributing their unique voice. "This is what we do," Rhea said. "We take broken things and make them beautiful. We take weapons and teach them to dance. We take beings designed for one purpose and show them they can choose another." Asherin stared at the images, thousands of years of isolation cracking like old ice. "The Emperor sent you here to die." This was a test of his new human commander. A way to dispose of someone too idealistic for military service? "I know. And yet you came. You spoke to me as an equal, not a monster. You showed me hope." Asherin's massive head tilted. "What do humans call this behavior?" Rhea smiled. "Stubbornly optimistic. It will get your species killed one day. Maybe. But first it'll let us do impossible things." She gestured to the door. "Like convince an ancient weapon that she deserves a second chance." Asherin looked at the food untouched, then at the human standing before her, small and fragile and absolutely fearless. In 3,821 years, empires had risen and fallen. Technologies had been invented that could unmake suns, but no one had thought to simply talk to her. No one had suggested that monsters might want redemption. "I will need time," Asherin said finally, "to remember how to be more than what I was made to be." "I'll bring food tomorrow," Rhea replied, "and the day after, however long it takes." As Rhea left the cell, Asherin did something she hadn't done in millennia. She ate. The nutrient cubes tasted like dust and memory, but for the first time they also tasted like possibility. Behind her on the obsidian platform, the star patterns in her fur began to shift and brighten, the constellation of her despair slowly rearranging itself into something that might, one day, resemble hope. And in the corridor outside, Commander Rhea Voss walked past the shocked gatekeeper with a simple nod. Already planning tomorrow's conversation. Because that's what humans did. They looked at the impossible and said, "Not yet," then got to work making it possible. The galaxy would learn this lesson, one stubborn act of kindness at a time.